You are now tuned into Radio Concuss.
Progeny. Rob Castro. Mick O'Grady.
Written by Mike Daly.
Chapter 9. Mick changes his POS t-shirt to a Radio Concuss to match the bike. Black, red, and white. So he won't have to switch out the Doom Dunk Nikes he's wearing. Nike super villains. Collector's items. Back when they were still in the box. He customized them with the Aesop Rock round laces. Gray jeans he's got on are keeping the knobby knees under cover. Kids would ask Mick during summers in York, why wasn't he wearing shorts? Was he crazy? In this heat? And high humidity? Legs are too skinny. His response could have been that easy. R.L. Osborne didn't wear shorts very often either. Not unless he was lake jumping. Even when he was lake jumping, now that Mick thinks of it. R.L. was wearing jeans when he did that 360 off the dock into the lake at the end of the Mountain Dew commercial. Mick puts on his Bell helmet and Atmosphere fingerless gloves. He zips shut his backpack. No, he reconsiders. It's too hot for these. He takes off the gloves. He unzips the backpack, stows the gloves, zips it shut. This is starting to make some sense. Mick picks it up. He opens the dressing room door and exits. Paramedics. Rod's got a Trek mountain bike up on a repair stand. Pronounced pain, O'Grady, he calls out. The paramedics laugh. Female, male. I failed to mention I'm a certified suspension technician, Rod says to the female paramedic. Check your oil, ma'am? He drums his fingers on the red Stratos Pro rear shock. Yes, she says, please. Is her tongue pierced? Mick wonders. Slight lisp. Hi, I'm Mick, he says to her. Glorietta, she says. Unpierced tongue, Mick sees. Nice to meet you, Glorietta, and you must be Angelo, the male paramedic says. Angelo and Mick shake hands. Mick's visiting from Oregon, Rod says. Hopefully you won't be seeing too much of him. I know I will. Our panniers come from Portland, Oregon, Angelo says. Panniers, Mick says. I was wondering how you pronounced those saddlebags on the sides. Panniers, Glorietta says. Yes. Custom made for NMM, Angelo says. New Mexico medics. I can have your overhaul done next Monday, Glorietta, Rod says. Gotta order some parts. October the 14th? Not this Monday, next Monday. Better check his calendar, Angelo says and laughs. Rod checks his Carpet Queen's calendar. October 21st, Rod says. Okay, Glorietta says. I guess. I'll ride my Yeti. You've been hammering hardcore on this thing. That's what I like to see. Emergency call comes in on a walkie-talkie or two-way radio. Glorietta responds. Angelo says, later guys. They leave the warehouse. Careful everybody, Rod calls out after them. It's 9:56 a.m. Mick says he saw that Rod checked his Carpet Queen's calendar. Miss October looks pretty serious about her Petersons in front of a roaring fire. Is that a Skyway TA? Good eye, O'Grady. Totally tricked out, Mick says. She even has a Mickey Mouse bell on her bars like the Master of Balance Robert Peterson had. How badass. Ground control freestyle team from Foster City represent. Is that where Carpet Queens are from? Mick asks. San Francisco? New York. They're based in Queens, New York. Carpet Queens Bike Club is from Queens. That makes total sense almost. Carpet Queens are BMX Society's one percenters, Rod says. BMXsociety.com? No, BMX Society in general. Social misfits to begin with, you know? Carpet queens are the elite 1% of us who have managed to become independently wealthy social misfits. The dons who can afford anything. They ransack old school bike shop owners' garages and basements and attics. Or their men do. Women accomplices. Ooh, Mick says. From coast to coast, they're relentless, Rod goes on. Their ruthlessness to expand their collections is second to none. Step 1, negotiate. Step 2, liquidate. Carpet queens have cleaned out entire warehouses that way. It's insane. It's sick, but they're smart. Any bike or part or article of clothing they want, they get it, and they keep it stored in the original packaging. NOS, Mick says. New old stock. NOS, yeah. Until they build their ultimate showpiece or they don't want it anymore, or until they want something else they see online, of course, then they flip it. That's why dudes call it the mentally illest bike club on the planet. Because they're jealous? They flip or they trade. I've worked out a few trades here and there, but it's very rare. I got lucky. Jealous, did you say? Yes, Mick says. I am. Do they call carpet queens the mentally illest bike club on the planet because they're so envious of their collections? Rod puts on his helmet. They're green with envy. Neon green with envy. The calendar models ride more than the dons do. That's the sickest thing about them. That is one stretched Peterson she's doing, I must say. Stretched to the max. Oh, they get into it, Rod says. The models do actual freestyle tricks. The first year they did the calendar, 2010 I think, the girls were just posing with the bikes. Which, by the way, not all of them were the freshest. Some of them were so ridiculously overbuilt, they were obscene. The models? The bikes, Rod says. The show bikes. Oh, I thought you meant the calendar ladies. No, the bikes. Some of Carpet Queen's first builds were such tragedies, catastrophes, eye candy shenanigans. Dionysian Krankensteins, Mick says. The NY in Dionysian needs to be capitalized on their hats to stand for New York. Dionysians Krankensteins. Neck bolts sold separately, Rod says. Mick laughs. They have to color coordinate everything. Araya, triple-dipped chrome rims with black and red anodized spoke nipples. Who had setups like that, O'Grady? No one that I ever saw. They picked the most expensive crank sets you could get from mail order ads in the mags or catalogs. Titron titanium pedals with high-polished LRP cages. Remember LRP? Lonkarovich Racing Products? I could keep going. Go on. We gotta get riding. Oh yeah. I want you to see something first on this GJS. Scope the treads on these tires. They still have the release powder showing on them. That is straight from the Tioga factory, baby cakes. Mid-80s. OMG. Seriously. Mick takes out his phone. He taps the camera app. Takes a close-up photo of the back tire. Asks Rod why he's doing this. Rod snaps on his yellow Jofa mouthguard. Why am I doing what? Why are you gonna ride your 82 Steve Bennett BioAir GJS? Shouldn't it be in a showcase in a climate-controlled museum next to Pat Benatar's guitar? Neil Giraldo was Pat's lead guitarist. She didn't play. She married him. Well, I guess you could ask my wife Chat that question. Why did Rod decide to ride his BioAir? She'll have a more in-depth answer to it, since she's also my psychoanalyst. But I'll tell you this, man. I'll tell you this. I don't know what's gonna happen, man, but I want to get my kicks before... Kicks? You just had a bowl of kicks. Rod laughs. Time to ride, OG. Leave your backpack. Lock it in that locker. Take the key. Chapter 10.
Moon Babe's a bicycle city.
NM. New Mexico. Crescit Undo. It grows as it goes. The original Sunshine State. Land of enchantment. Land of embankments. Bicycle City, New Mexico. Even the bingo hall has a bank to wall. And a hip.
Nice bike.
2 ladies on a Jameis Earth Cruiser commuter. Aqua and plum purple. Ubiquitous milk crate serving as the basket. Stack of records in the crate and a stuffed animal. Oh, it's Roadrunner. Stuffed bird. Stuffed cartoon bird. When did axle pegs become passenger footrests? Mick wonders as he watches. Somewhere he saw pegs described like that. Must not have been a safety manual. The lady on the back tickles the armpits of the rider, makes her laugh, says something in her ear, or she's singing. They must be going shopping, digging for vinyl. A column of Spinal Health Associates riding restored pre-war Excelsiors passes them. Rod says to Mick, "Do a trick." "Thank you, Woody Itzin," says Mick. Give him a second, he has to think of what he can do on this thing. He's still getting used to it. Horrendous headwind. He stands up on the pedals. "All right," he says, "so it won't be a 180 rollback because of the wind. Let's go for a 360 bunny hop, shall we? Mike Buff on a quad angle in the Taco Bell parking lot style from BMX Action." Mick bunny hops 180. He lands the Panda on the back tire and the nylon Z-rim flexes. Mick struggles to bring the front end around. Hissing. Flat tire. Son of a crop duster. Less than 10 minutes from the shop. Exactly why Mick never had Zytel plastic rims. His brother did though. Yellow ones on a chrome torquer. He had an Addicts nylon chainring that matched the rims. Rod already has a patch kit in the palm of his MXL gloved hand. Rod undoes the quick release on the belt of his hip pack. He puts the patch kit in the hip pack, zips it shut, hands the hip pack to Mick. "Fix that flat." "Go on without me, Rod." "No, I can't leave you here." "Why not?" "There's a search underway for a missing man. One is enough. Don't be a fool, O'Grady. Search teams are scouring the canyons and mountainsides as we speak." "I'm already wide-eyed in the wilds." Rod laughs. "You need an ice-cold canyon of Frail Sisters coffee," Rod says. "That'll widen your eyes as you fix that flat." "Bitchin', brother. Black, please. Unsweetened." "Patch it up enough for us to roll back to the shop. You can exchange it for something else that tickles your fancy. Whatever other setup you want to ride. You said you saw our fall catalog." "I forgot how problematic those rims are when you tackle them. Spoke nipples poke through the tubes. I'll hit up this Allsup's Market for refreshments." Tickles, Mick thinks. Those ladies a few minutes ago. The one tickling the other's armpits. All felt so well then. Now this. Fix. Bicycles have problems. Real problems sometimes. Easy to forget that fact sometimes, he guesses. Mick unscrews the red and white dice cap from the valve stem of the tube. Rad caps. He places it upside down on the desert. Die. Singular for dice is die. He checks the sky for circling birds. None that he can see. Sun is blazing. Mick presses his thumbnail into the valve and releases more air. He unseats the tire bead from the right side of the Z-rim. Begins removing the tube. This would be so much easier with the back wheel off. He squeezes the Diacomp MX-1000 brake arms. Using his right thumb and pointer finger, he pulls the quick release lever down and flips it counterclockwise. Let's go. The caliper widens. He unzips the hip pack and empties it of its contents. Patch kit, pump, wrench, socket, stack of stickers for the contest tomorrow. What are these? the keys to Rod's bike car replica of the '76 Chrysler Cordoba. Not very era correct of Roderick to be wearing a hip pack while riding a GJS, Mick thinks. He flattens it on the ground to protect the red Cashimax seat. Made in Japan. He flips the Panda onto its seat and the red Oakley .5 grips with the black mud and crud plugs. He picks up the wrench and fits the socket onto the non-drive side axle nut. He loosens the axle nut, ratchets, loosens, ratchets, loosens. He loosens the other one, ratchets, loosens, ratchets, loosens. He pushes the axle forward, derails the chain, disengages the wheel, removes the inner tube from the tire casing. He picks up the pump and hooks it onto the valve. Flat out hooking it on, Mick says. He inflates the tube, listens for air escaping, finds the hole. Holes? Hole. This shouldn't be so difficult, Mick thinks. Really, he can do this. He picks up the patch kit and opens the lid of the container. A piece of sandpaper blows out. It's grip tape. He picks it up, uses it to abrade the area around the hole. He returns the grip tape to the patch kit. Mick takes out the tube of glue and unscrews the cap. He applies 3 drops to the sanded area, 1 for each of Rod and Chat's daughters, Suzu, Araya, and Yukai Moon, named after the hub and rim makers in Japan. He evenly distributes the glue using the nozzle tip of the tube. He recaps the tube and puts it back in the patch kit. Where's their dad with that ice-cold coffee? Mick remembers hearing that New Mexico moved up and down an inch after that earthquake in Japan. Japan's 9.0 magnitude earthquake in 2011. He heard about it on the radio. 2011, worst year of his life. Most fortunate, though, now that he thinks of it. One that had to happen to be where he is right now. But what makes now so great? Well, he is off work for an extended weekend on vacation in Bicycle City, New Mexico. There's that. This. Not at the time did 2011 feel like the most fortunate year of his life, though. Hell. 2015, then. People have problems. Real problems sometimes. Easy to forget that fact sometimes. Here he is now in 2019, however. Friday, October 11th. Mick peels the wrap off an inner tube patch. Bicycle City is busy. Hearing cheerfulness from riders passing gladdens him. Tires hum past on macadam and the gravel, the sand. Music from sounds of bike chains and the howling. Wind. The round patch says on it, Moon Babes. He presses down with his thumb, holds it in place, wonders. Moon Babes. Wonders about them. Moon Babes.